Welcome in, everybody. This is episode 188 of McArthur Live here, and we are with you. And I gotta make sure I look at the right camera. So we got to move this over here. We got to move this. Put that back where it was. But we are here. Hopefully, looking forward to a great episode. We're going to talk about employee pricing in today's video later. Yeah, we're gonna have a little fun today. And don't have a lot of dealer news, a lot of recalls for some reason. I haven't looked them over that closely. But yeah,
it is the season for recalls.
Yeah. Well, yeah, anyway, so, but there we go. So there's that. But anyway, hopefully you guys are having a great day and a great week. And NCAA tournament championship game was last night. So our family does a bracket every year, and I actually won. Even though I didn't pick the right team last night. Sorry, Jack, but I did not pick Florida. I picked Florida to go to the championship game, playing Houston. And
what do you mean your family does a bracket?
My brother and sister and my mom and dad.
Okay.
The people that follow basketball.
That's what I mean. I was like,
you guys don't follow basketball. We didn't watch a lot of basketball when you guys were growing up. So you guys aren't really into the basketball stuff like my parents and brother and sister are. But
no, we're not.
Big avid KU fans, of course. KU didn't make it very far, but Florida Gators, national champions. So I know Jack is a big Florida Gators fan. We found that out when we were there, and there we go. We saw some Florida Gators this year.
We did.
So anyway, so congratulations to them. And Masters is this week too. So this is a big week for Jack. So I don't know if he's in the live stream, but big week because he's a big Florida fan and he's a big Masters fan too. So he sent us off some Masters stuff. Where's your ice cream? We got our Masters cup here. So this is that Jack sent us. So pretty cool. But got that there. I might put my favorite beverage over here in this. We'll have to pour that in while Sarah gets hers. But anyway, so yes. Well, I don't want to give this any of this away here. So we're gonna.
It fits a tub of cookie dough. Or sorry, not cookie dough, ice cream.
Yeah, so her plastic cup broke. So.
I use it for ice because I always forget to grab this cup. Or I don't really like to carry this around. I'm known for dropping my cups, and this is glass. I don't like to carry it around. So
there we go.
Now I have a plastic cup to go get ice.
Cool. Anyway, so Masters is going on this week, right? Am I right? Am I off a week?
No, it's the middle of this week.
Okay, Thursday, right? Starts up Thursday.
I think so.
All right. So, anyway, yeah, but we'll, Anyway, so there's a little current events. Yeah. What all did you do this weekend?
I got my bathroom fixed. We got that taken care of. I had a leak. Pretty big one.
Plumber almost lived at your house for a couple days there.
We had a plumber that turned out to not be licensed. So he did a lot of work that was not properly done, ended up in a leak. So we had to have someone else come in and fix it. But it's all fixed. We're good now. But besides that, we hung out, chilled.
I did taxes.
It was cold and rainy. We didn't want to go outside, so we hung out inside and moved the chickens out to the coop permanently today.
We had your boys over. Don't remember. Oh, I mowed the yard with a new mower. My new lawnmower. I mowed the yard and worked on taxes. It was chore day. Anyway, so that's what I did. So, but the new mower worked pretty good. And first time using a zero turn. If you've never done it, it's a little getting used to because that one, man. Those electric mowers, they have a lot of power,
yes.
And they take off on you if you have it. There's two different modes, a low and a high. And I was like, the high's a little fast. I got a couple skid marks in the yard. So just saying that. Anyway, but so anyway, all good. Well, we'll get into this week's episode. And don't forget, make sure you're subscribed, the bell notification turned on. We are recording this as a podcast as well. So go to our website, FordVideoGuideMedia.com. We have links to our blog, links to the podcast, as well as all kinds of things. If you want to support the channel, whatever, we have buy me a coffee link on there as well, all that good stuff. And we try to keep that up to date. We're probably going to do a little bit more with the website. It really started out as being things about my Bronco that I've done, and some other stuff, but it's going to turn into more. So we'll put more some more content on there. We'll try to evolve that a little bit more. So it's a one-stop place. We'll put events on there at some point too as well that we're going to do. Not only the Maverick event we have, which is on our website too, which will be on our website soon. Forgot to do that, but we'll have that there too. But you can go to that and check that out. But you can also find the podcast on any of your favorite streaming platforms as well. And speaking of podcasts, you have one airing this week, don't you?
I do.
Friend of mine,
Kathy Cruz.
Kathy Cruz. If you've been in automotive, especially social media, and you've gone to any kind of conferences, you've probably watched one of her episodes or her sessions. I've known her for a lot of years in the industry, and I've been on her podcast 2 or 3 times.
Yes.
And they talk about me a lot on their podcast about people doing video and different things, and being genuine and such, not just about, getting the click and all that, but more or less helping people out and having it and how that works for your dealership. So anyway, so there you go. There's that. It should be on. So that'll be good. I'm looking forward to that one. So let me mute this. But that'll be fun. So that's Thursday. If you haven't followed her, All Women Driven. There's an underscore in between each of those. All Women Driven on YouTube, also on Spotify. You can find it. And then that's episode number 8, I think I saw.
Yes.
So racking up. So I'm looking forward to that. So Thursday at 4 p.m. Central. So
I have through episode 10 recorded.
And if you want to watch the video, she records it just like we are here. And so you can watch it if you'd like, or you can listen to it on Spotify. I've done a little bit of both. Depends on if I'm busy or not. I'm like, I really want to listen to that. So sometimes, I'll go ahead and just listen to it while I'm driving or something. So, all right. Cool. So there you go. There's all that stuff. And but make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell and all that good stuff. We do have merch if you want any of our merch. I don't have any of it on here. I got the hat that the Maverick brand team sent to me. So supporting that tonight. And but we do have merch. If you want Ford Vertigo Guy merch, it's on there. Or if you want even McArthur merch, we have a link to that as well that we have set up for any of that kind of stuff if you want any of that stuff. But it's there mainly so I can purchase it and wear it. All right. But other than that, and if you want to become a member, you can become a member.
Yes.
Right? Let me see. Where's that link at? Right here.
It's that join button right beside the subscribe button. Once you click it, a pop-up will appear. Follow the directions it gives you and you'll be good. If you're an iPhone user, you have to do things a little bit differently. You have to go to your web browser, go up to little a and big A, and request desktop website. At that point, you should be able to see it. I actually have mine permanently on desktop website because I hate the phone way of doing things.
You can find all the videos under membership and such. You should also get notifications every time one of those videos go live. And you get what we do a lot of times is if I get a chance, it depends on how ahead of my schedule I am on my videos. Members will get to see videos a little bit earlier than the public does. This week's Maverick Monday was like 15 minutes early. But then also every Thursday we do a lot walk for our members, and we just kind of walk and talk, and you guys get to see what's going on. It's more of an inside stuff, but also maybe some things that I might be just venting about, right? Ranting about, right? We'll do that. And then we do a member live stream that we just hang out and we talk to we read the chat and respond.
Yes.
Basically for an hour, and it's just fun hangout time basically with our members. So anyway, so there you go. And please, don't feel like you're not missing out on anything, because there's a lot of times things that we might talk about on Thursday or Friday will end up in a live stream, right? Like the employee pricing we're going to talk about tonight. We actually talked about it with the members on Friday. So, I mean, it's not like you're going to miss it, but you just get things a little earlier just for supporting us. And so just as a thank you. So
take your opinion to account when we're doing planning things.
Yep.
Things like that.
Wow. We got some important people in here tonight.
We do.
All Train Nation sometimes will say that, when I'm in there, whatever, nope, I'm not as important as some of these people in here. So anyway, let's get to that. Let's say let's kind of give a shout out. The other thing you get is you get shout outs to our members. So let's
So if you haven't said hello yet, go ahead and drop it in.
drop it in there, members. And don't forget, but while you're doing that too, you can drop in. If you want to
What's in Tim's cup?
guess what's in Tim's Master's cup that Jack sent me.
I don't think they
He
guessed
didn't send the beverage,
mine.
but he sent the cup. Huh?
I don't think they guessed what's in mine.
I'd say Mountain Dew, but I don't think it is. I think it's some sort of Red Bull. Anyway, okay.
All right.
right.
So we have Ford enthusiasts. Hello, everyone. Hey, Tim and Sarah. I heard you got your brownies.
Yeah, and I think he'll hopefully be here to pick up his vehicle in just a couple weeks. Which also means it's a couple weeks before Supercell.
I think he plans before Supercell.
Yes,
So.
that's what I was saying.
Yeah. All right, we have Rob Hallmark. 2 weeks until Supercell.
Speaking of,
as well. It's good evening, LM fam. Alan, hello, Tim and Sarah. Great video on Monday. Bucko says good evening, everyone. We have R Quib. Hello, everyone, on this fine spring day. Douglas, Dale City, Virginia is on. Ghost Dang, good evening, all. Mabsim, hello, all. Better late than never. Brian Foster, hello, and to all of the Long McArthur members. SoCal looks to be entering its first heat wave of the season. It's a gorgeous day, plus all 4 of our Fords have received service in the last week. We have Mike M. Hope all of you have a good week. Also, hope some of you can take advantage of Ford employee pricing. And I actually saw a couple of people saying that they have.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about how it works and people that don't have vehicles on order too. We'll get into that too and how that will work.
We have S. Waltz along with Clarence, just waiting for the tariffs to hit. Even my local Ford dealer has a bunch of Mavs on his lot. I would like to see what Long McArthur can offer for finance rates. I already know about the $1,000 discount if I finance through them.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about that too, because some vehicles we actually removed that offer.
We have Mike 52G. Hey, am I too late? You are not. You made it just in time for this. We have Allie Dubois, honorary member.
Right.
And JB Mav 2025. Hey, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We also have our moderator, Ridgeview. He is the one with the blue name highlighted. He helps us keep our chat nice and friendly.
I'm a little jealous of Allie. Right about now. She got their first expedition in.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Mine's still in. We haven't received any of ours yet. So.
Ragnar Khan is here. I like to pretend I'm important. I mean, we can't have our food talk without you.
Yes. So, speaking of channels, of course, Allie's got a channel. You can find Allie also on Instagram and Facebook. So, just like her, Allie Dubois in there. And also, we do have Ragnarcon, who's got a channel, YouTube channel. It's really fun to watch. So check it out. All Terrain Nation. Don't know if he'll be in there tonight. Sometimes they are. And then, of course, Johnny's Car Cam Reviews as well. So check out all those channels. And we have others as well. Yours and some others that are down in the description of this video. So check those out as well. So, all right. What else got? Any others?
That is all I have for now.
Jack may not be in here. He might be celebrating with Florida Gators or something. But anyway, I got a feeling he's going to have all the Florida Gators gear in a couple weeks.
Ragnar Khan's comment. Ridgeview is also important. You can tell because his name is in blue. I got lots of what's in Tim's cup.
Have we got any guesses on that?
Oh, yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
We have C4. Jack and Coke. So we keep it non-alcoholic here since we are at work. Root beer.
Not that I can't handle my alcohol or anything.
We have red Mountain Dew. It's brown.
It's brown.
Root beer. Dr. Pepper. So, what is it?
It is root beer from Chick-fil-A. I had to pour it out of the cup, but
They're
I also have a Monster sugar-free Monster too
Yeah.
here that I might be getting into later. We'll see. Anyway, so your mom always brings Jeff and I
I
dinner
think our
on
members
Tuesday
are
nights.
starting to catch on.
Yep. Anyway,
Meanwhile, I got one of the spring edition Red Bulls. The can
Okay.
was purple. This is green.
that's right.
It doesn't taste bad. But as I've mentioned before, their seasonal flavors keep getting more and more alcohol tasting.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Okay, we can move along. Do you have a good dealer moment?
I will in a second.
All right. What did I see?
Who did you see?
Allie posted someone's going to highlight it, but Supercell 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
It's closer to the bottom.
Oh, am I not at that? Okay, thought it was at
There
the
you
bottom.
go. Go up a little bit. There it is.
There we go. Where I'll be in 2 weeks.
In case you were trying to find him.
There you go. So
Although it's pretty simple. You just come out to McArthur.
now looking forward to that. Not looking forward to the 14-hour. Well, it'll probably be like 16-hour drive for us. So we'll have to get part ways. So that actually leads me to that. So the 22nd live stream will not be live. It'll be recorded because we're going to try to head out of here around 5 or 6 on Tuesday evening.
So I get to hop into the chat with you guys, and
yeah,
you're doing a premiere, right?
Yeah, it'll be a premiere video. So we'll just
we can
do
still have our live chat.
The basics and everything, so you guys can still do the live chat. But we'll get on the road and get there, get part way, hopefully get somewhere in Missouri, and find a campground to sleep at overnight, and then on to Tennessee. Yeah, so we may not be able to hit Buc-ee's on the way there. We'll just have to see. I want to get up there early enough that we can hit the drive-in. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know if I can get there. Last time we did that, last time we drove. So this will be the first year. Well, knock on wood that we say we're going to do this, but the first year we drove straight through. So that could be on the Bronco Nation live stream. And then the next year we're like, okay, we're going to drive until I get tired and we're just going to pull off. I'm going to sleep in the car for a little bit and then get back on the road. And so we did that, pulled off at Love's, slept in the car. It lasted about an hour. I don't even think I slept hardly at all. And then we just got back and we kept driving and we got there fairly early in the afternoon, but I wasn't tired like I was the year before. It wasn't like the year before. I was like, I had the energy drinks going, and everything. It was a little different because
ever do that again.
Because last year you guys, you and Niles had the live stream going. So we actually left a little earlier. Whereas the year before it was like 10 o'clock when we left.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we get left a little earlier than.
Now, if you want me to host the live stream, I'm just going to do one of my.
Yeah. Well, that was our first year of the camper, and we didn't really think we could just pull over. Now we've learned a lot more, and there's a lot of campgrounds that just let you just pull in and not too expensive.
Square up in the morning.
And then take care of that, or you just do it online and you go ahead and pay for it, and they have a spot, and so then you just go in and so
makes me want a camper because that would be so much easier than. Hotels.
But in like what we did coming back from Tennessee last year, we stopped at a campground right at Paducah, near to Paducah Fern campground, Fern something campground. Anyway, it was a really nice one, but we just pulled off and we didn't even unhook or anything. We just kind of like I did put the jack down a little bit, so we had a little bit of pressure off the Bronco for a bit, but then we just got in it and we just moved all the stuff that we had inside the camper and put it in the back of the Bronco, and we just slept and then got up in the morning and got a shower and got back on the road. so hopefully we'll do that this time. But anyway, so it'll be fun. Looking forward to that. So, hey, Mike Kim always says you can stop and freshen up at our house. So I might actually, Windrock is on the other side of where he lives, I think.
Yep.
From Townsend. So plus we'll come over. I'm sure he's going to come over. He'll hang out with us at Supercell, I'm sure.
Man, all the fun people go to Tennessee.
So we'll see.
When my boys are older, I'll join in.
We'll see. Last year, I think it was like, I don't know, 9 or 10. I don't know. Google says it's 14 hours, and I can tell you, depending on there's not as much construction on the way there, but I can't do it in 14 because if you figure gas stops and
Well,
everything else.
So my problem is you and mom are my babysitters. That's all I have.
Yeah.
So they have to come with me.
Yeah.
Anyways, Steven, I have your question pulled aside. We will answer it when we get to a point where we're discussing that. He wants the process of ordering.
Oh, okay. Yep, we're going to talk about that probably close to the top of the hour, but we'll get right in. We'll get in that as soon as we can. We'll get through some stuff here. All right. So you ready for a good dealer?
Yes. All right. This week's good dealer is Chapman Ford of Horsham in Horsham, Pennsylvania. Fred Bell was the sales associate. All right. They are 3% under invoice, Farm Bureau rebate, and $1,750 Ford incentive were already in Smart Vincent. No BS, no add-ons, very respectful. Would definitely buy another Ford from them. By the way, this is the first Ford I've owned in 50 years of driving. I was always a Chevy man.
All right. There you go.
So go check them out if you're in that area.
Where's that at?
That is Chapman Ford of Horsham in Horsham, Pennsylvania.
I know when Maverick was coming out, Chapman and Granger and us, we put stuff in the Maverick Truck Club. And so they got a lot of early Maverick people.
I see Chapman, Molinex, and Chapman right here, 3 together.
Oh. All right. Let's get it. We're just going to jump into scheduling here. So the scheduling video went live earlier, like 20 minutes before the live stream here. So you guys get a chance to watch that and slide right into this. So check that out if you didn't. Biggest thing is I thought this was going to be the first week of allocations for April's allocations to be used for those June production dates. And it's actually one more week. So there's a lot of plants that are not scheduling this week because they've already planned out their full production for May. And so because of that, mainly Super Duty is there's only like the F-150s and Super Duties that's scheduling, and Transits for the most part. For most of their normal allocations and such. I think we have a couple allocations of each of those. But Bronco Sport and Maverick scheduling, but really it's just cleanup scheduling. So it's if a dealer would need an allocation for this week. So next week is when it really starts out and we get the new set of allocations that dealers have earned. They're all set in stone on Friday. And then next week is when they start scheduling for April's allocations for those June production dates. So anyway, I did actually go through kind of a recap on each vehicle as well, model line, I should say, earlier in that scheduling video. So you can check that out. But if anybody has any questions now, we can pop those in there because just like I said earlier in that video, if you want answers, your questions, right away here, we can do that and answer any questions you might have about scheduling for this week or scheduling for next month if you want, or scheduling of your order, whatever it might be. I do want to, and this is probably a good time to kind of mention, I did last week, we had somebody that was from us put an order in at a small dealer, and we talked about his hadn't scheduled for several months and was wanting to know what he could do and such, because his dealer said that they were only scheduling Broncos.
Yep.
And we were like, no, they schedule both Maverick and Broncos, but it just depends on your dealer, because that dealer probably was receiving allocations for Bronco Sports and not Maverick. And so I've been didn't think about this, but depends on how small a dealer you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you're one of those U300 dealers, U300 dealers are getting allocations depending on the model. They're getting allocations to fulfill those orders of their customers. So because sometimes they may be something that they don't do a lot of, but if they get an order of it, they want to make sure the small dealers can fulfill those allocations. Yeah. And so that does happen. But it's still, Ford wants to do the best they can, but it doesn't mean it'll happen, as often as it would for us.
You don't want to push those small dealers out. They really help the smaller communities.
Yeah. So I had forgotten about that when answering that question. And so they will be fulfilled. Now, I still believe it will take a little longer than a dealer like for us that maybe gets a few more allocations because we can, schedule those in several weeks. But what I had said about, still having that conversation, though, because just like even though the U300 dealers are getting allocations to fulfill those retail orders that they have, they're still going to know, like at the end of this week, they'll know how many allocations they're going to have to help those customers that have those retail orders, by Monday of next week. So I still think it's important to know off the top of your head, hey, it looks like, Ford did see that we had 2 unscheduled orders, so we have 2 allocations, so we should be good. But if a third order got put in the last week, you're still going to have 3 orders with 2 allocations, because when they gave you those allocations at that time, you only had 2 orders. But now if you've gained another order, you're still going to be in that situation where somebody's not going to get scheduled that month. So
Yeah.
I still believe with a lot of times, if what you will usually do is, if we have a vehicle and we get a certain amount of allocations, we'll kind of plan for 1 or 2 extra orders. But usually not more than that. So like on Maverick this month, we were offered 15 Mavericks, and we took all 15 because we had 8 unscheduled orders. But we thought, you know what? We've been getting orders for Mavericks, and so we want to make sure we can fulfill those within the month. So we went ahead and took the 15. But on something else where we had 0 orders, we'll always take at least 1 or 2. And then, not take the others, give those up.
Right.
So
we had someone call in and talk to one of our BDC. Our BDC came and asked me, she's like, can you get 4K on an XL? I'm like, yeah, with hybrid and all-wheel drive. Yeah. She's like, is it standard? No, that's a package that has to be added on. And so she asked if we had any on our lot. I'm like, actually, I don't think any of our XLs on our lot have it. But if you would like exactly what he wants, we can order, and we have allocations. We get allocations every month. We can get them scheduled very easily.
And we'll talk about lock-in pricing and everything as well on those orders. I think that's what Steven's probably referring to. But anyway, so I just kind of want to clear that up, because that was something in that short, because I pulled that out as a short and put it on Maverick Truck Club, and I wanted to clarify that, because those dealers will get the allocations to fulfill those orders at some point. But again, they're gonna give it to them if a dealer doesn't sell a lot of Mavericks, let's say, then maybe they only sell 1 Maverick a month, when they're going to usually earn 1 Maverick allocation a month. Or maybe, or whatever. But if they see that they have 2 orders, they'll try to give them those 2. But again, they try to, because here's what's still going to happen is they still have to, they might pull from some other dealers. Like we see that it's happened with the Ranger Raptor. There's a great situation, because we have a lot of people that order the Ranger Raptor with us. Yep. And we were told we could fulfill those. And they even said to us this week is that, well, we have to give the allocations that we had promised to our smaller dealers, and that are needing that earn those those allocations to them before we give extras to you. And that's true, and that's kind of what they're doing, and that's the U300 of allocations given up. So anyway, there we go. So want to make sure I cleared that up. Any questions that you have posted in there about scheduling?
I'm guessing that our region didn't realize the power that we had and got way too many orders than they expected.
So last year, there were a lot of dealers turning down allocations for Ranger Raptor because they weren't selling them, because they were marking them over sticker. And since they weren't selling them, they didn't want any more allocations. I already got 2 on my lot, set on my lot. I don't need another allocation. So they were giving them, they basically weren't taking them.
But now they're not marking them up, so they can sell them.
Yes. So now they're taking them, because they're seeing that they will sell at sticker or less if you sell it that way.
Yeah.
So now they know that they can sell them, so they're taking them.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So I do have a few questions here. We will start with Tim. Define very limited exhaustibility.
Okay. So limited, it goes limited, then very limited to exhausted. So basically it's basically limited to exhausted, means that they don't have a lot of availability of that. So you're probably referring to this week's notes, which right here, it's on the Maverick. I left out the 2 probably. It says very limited to exhausted availability for the trimmer and the part-time drive, which is front-wheel drive. So that means that they pretty much they're scheduling for May production here. Well, they've been scheduling for May production for the last 3 or 4 weeks. So most of the production they've already planned for and have scheduled out. Basically, it's kind of like if I have a cup of, and I can pour in so much liquid into this right before it starts overflowing. Well, they can't do more than what the cup can handle. If, they have if they have this much, oh, I could put some ice in there. I could maybe put some liquid in there, but if I do some other orders, then it won't. So basically, they have a capacity that they can reach, and they're basically at that capacity or real close to that capacity for the Tremor and the part-time or the front-wheel drive hybrid. And so that's why they say it's very limited to exhausted availability.
He's on F450 King
Okay.
Ranch.
Okay. So F450, where it said King Ranch, was one of them. So it said very limited to exhaustive availability for the King Ranch, as well as for the crew cab, and F550 was mentioned in there, bucket seats. So if he has a King Ranch, basically means it's going to be pretty difficult probably to get scheduled, but not impossible, because we have seen some people, especially the dealer, like for us, we have 5 allocations that they owe us. This is the last week for this month for to use those allocations. And so they want to fulfill those allocations, those dealers. So if they have 1 or 2 available, they're going to try to give that to that dealer so we could maybe get a King Ranch scheduled. No guarantee though, because again, they only have a little bit. So like for somebody and a great way to maybe for this to fit is if you are a King Ranch, but you don't have the 5th wheel prep package, that might be easier. But you have a King Ranch with the 5th wheel prep package and you have spray and liner, the more of those you add, the harder it's going to be. Yeah. So you might see a King Ranch slide in there with nothing else added. But if you have a King Ranch, you know what I'm saying? The more you have on there, the more likely it is that they can't fill that into their plan because they're already maxed out on spray and liners, or they're already maxed out on 5th wheel, but they may have 1 or 2 slots for King Ranch. So it really just depends on configuration and just fitting that right configuration to hit their max capacity.
So staying on with that Super Duty, what do you think the timeline for an F350 6.7 crew dually King Ranch with sunroof and gooseneck 5-wheel prep package is?
The hard part on that is we see like this in here where gooseneck prep package is very low capacity, and we see, depending on what 6.7 you're looking at, but we also see King Ranch as also a lower capacity. When I say capacity, is a lower rate of what they build them at, right? So I think King Ranch is like around 5% of all Super Duties are going to be a King Ranch. That's a very low number. But the other big scenario on there that we don't know is that I don't know what your dealer's allocations look like and your dealer's orders look like. Now, if you had an order with us, I could probably tell you that I could probably get you scheduled in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because we already got, I think, what do we get? 40, or at least, I think we have like 25 or 30 allocations for next month, if not more. We might have had 40. I think we asked for more because we feel like we need 40 Super Duties to be scheduled in June.
Yeah.
So we asked for more for June. We don't know if we're going to get them all, but we know we're going to get at least 25. Well, we have like less than 5 or 10 orders in there. So again, ordering with your dealership, having that conversation of how many allocations do you typically get each month? How many unscheduled orders do you have? Because that's going to be a big scenario on what's going to happen. Because they do want to fulfill those for those dealers and the best they can. And having that order in at the beginning of the month is also very important. So, and then, if you could go without the gooseneck hits prep package, I'm not saying take it off because you probably don't want to, but, figure that out. So, sometimes you just got to wait a little longer for exactly what you want. Like in this case, you want a King Ranch F350 dually with the sunroof and the gooseneck hitch prep package. I could tell you taking off the sunroof and the 5th wheel gooseneck would probably maybe get you scheduled earlier. But if you want what you want, you might be willing to wait a little bit longer. So anyway, so not really an answer I can tell you on a timeline, but it really depends on the dealer you're with, the region you're in, and that kind of thing. There's a scenario there that I don't have answers to that I can give you a good timeline. Like I said, if you're order with us, I could almost guarantee you're going to get scheduled for a June production date. But I can't say that with all dealers. So
yeah.
Anyway, all right.
All right. So Mike D asks, is that why my dealer said Maverick Lobo is at 0% fulfillment?
I don't know. I'm not sure why they said it, because Lobo, all Mavericks are kind of lumped together. Yeah. So like we had 8, I think. We had like 8 or 10. We had 10 Lobos schedule and get produced. And we have how many on a lot? 4. We have 8 Lobos right now. We sold 2. So Lobos aren't difficult to get scheduled and to get produced. So I'm not sure why. Now it was 0% at the beginning. Now depending on when you ask them. So remember, Lobo was a job 2 startup. So they didn't produce any Lobos in job 1. So if you talk to your dealership early in the year, like at last fall, then they're right, 0%, because they weren't building any. They weren't scheduling any. They started scheduling them like November, December for those February build dates. But at this point, like June, I don't remember what their capacity is. I can tell you for KC region, I have that information here. Where's Maverick? Right here. They do break down. Actually, it is saying 0% for this month for Lobo. Okay, that is right. I mean, KC region anyway, they are saying 0% for Lobo. Okay, 0. I knew Trimmer was 0%, but I didn't catch the Lobo one. They should have put it in their main notes. Anyway, so yeah, 0% on Lobo. So if you are wanting to order a Lobo, then it won't get scheduled for June production dates, it looks like, according to this.
Yeah.
Okay. Glad I referenced that. There you go.
All right.
Not perfect. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, Mike D said he got 0% yesterday.
Yeah. So, yep, it does look like, at least in the case. I mean, we get commodity reports beginning of every month, and it is ours does say on it for the Kansas City region, but a lot of regions are the same. But ours is saying 0% for Lobo, just 0% for both Lobo 402A and 702A, and then Tremor is 0%. Even says the XLT hybrid all-wheel drive is 0% as well. So if you're looking at that, you won't get one of those scheduled for June either. So interesting. Lariat's 22%, XL is 55%, and then 51% hybrid, 49% eco, and then XLT somewhere between 43 and 47%. So anyway, yeah. Okay, there you go. It does change from month to month. So like Expedition active is 0% this month, but it won't be next month necessarily. So it looks like they're doing a lot of that. Seems like we're getting into almost like job 3 for some of them, because we're coming in December production dates when the new model year starts taking orders coming up, right? For the here pretty soon, and usually August is when they start opening the order banks for some of these. So we're getting into summer production where they're going to start only building what they're selling the most of, or what they can, or what their capacity is. So for some reason on Lobo as well as Tremor. So think about this: what's 2 things in common of Lobo and Tremor? They're both 0%. The advanced all-wheel drive is the same on both of those. So maybe they're having issues with the advanced all-wheel drive system. And that could be one of the things of why they cannot schedule any of those for June production dates. So there might be something else there we don't know about.
Right.
Just saying. All right. Anyway, there you go. All right. What's the? Let's see. My question of the day is: WGH is the holdup on Strop build. They're building them. Ours, we have one that's going to be, it's on the way, I think. In fact, I know that somebody has a Strop Bronco that's on their way to them.
Right. So you're seeing been in production since the 23rd and has mysterious QC hold. Any idea on what it actually is? So production is an umbrella term. It starts the production term gets put in there when the window sticker gets sent to the factory for the build to start. They then go, hey, we need this parts for this vehicle, send it over from the warehouses. Let's go. They then start production on it maybe like a week later. So then
usually it'll go in production about a week before it actually is being produced.
Yes. And then it stays in that production term until it's released. So if it has any, like they need to do some checks on it, or it needs to have something added to it, or anything really, or
and you're talking Strop that has to have different
graphics
and vinyl put on it and different place. It is actually, it's built in one at the plant, but then it's shipped to a different plant to have the Strop graphics and the Strop stuff added to it. So it's not done there.
And so then once it's, finished being built, they do some quality checks on and everything.
Especially on that one.
Yes.
They're not going to, they don't want one Strop Bronco going out. That's not perfect. I'm going to tell you that right now.
So there will be holds on it. And then in production will stay there until it's released and it gets put on the rail.
Yep. So you have 4 types, like you were saying, and order processing, that's before it gets scheduled, right? And then, or as it gets scheduled, right? Or for production or whatever. So that's order processing. Once it goes in production, like she said, about a week before when they start getting them ready to produce it, it'll stay in that production until it gets in transit. So once it's released from the factories, when it switches over to in transit and then delivery. So when it comes, and it'll stay in transit until it shows up to the dealer and then it gets a delivery. So those are the 4 umbrellas. Now within that, there are subcategories. Like in yours, when it goes into production, there's a thing called sent to plant, and that means the orders are sent to the plant, and then it's being produced. And then once it's produced, it'll say produced, and then sometimes it'll say it's being sent to the body company, like on Mavericks. It's sent off somewhere else. I can tell you the strops, not everything is done at the factory. So at it's built at Michigan assembly plant, but then it goes off to another place to get the graphics and everything on. Right?
Allie, Penske is where it's sent.
There you go. Penske. That's right. I couldn't think of where exactly it goes, but I knew that it wasn't done right there at MAP. So there you go.
So she said some got the okay to be released and some of them got held. So I'm guessing that they are doing serious quality checks on these.
Oh yeah, this is important.
The ones that got released probably have been through all the checks, and they're going to probably hold them in batches to make sure that they're going through the most quality checks that they can do.
The same thing has happened on Expedition, because we had a lot of people really upset about Expedition too. I've had a lot of people reach out to me on Expedition because they're like, my vehicle, they think there's something wrong with their vehicle. They're really like seriously concerned that what's going on with my vehicle. Is it not built right or whatever? I mean, they're really concerned because it's saying it's non-shippable. And so they're really freaking out because theirs was built back in February. What is the deal? And I'm like, hey, I'm in the same.
Yeah, he has a build date started 2/26, blend date of 3/23, and his got held.
So blend date would be when it was probably built or started to be built, I think. Allie might know that a little bit better. Allie knows some people at some of the factories, so not that she can tell us all the insights, but she could probably knows a little more than I do on that. Yes, and I do agree. She said something about, I wish I want to boycott the pizza tracker. Yes. I kind of agree with that.
I agree. Like, let the dealers have access to it because we can see in the back office what is going on to an extent, but the one that they send out to the customers, no.
That's what she's talking about.
Yeah. No, stop it.
The pizza, like when you, I forgot about that. I don't order pizza that much, Allie, but you order pizza and it says it's here and then it's it's being cooked and then it's right.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so yeah, exactly. But Expedition is one. So I was going into that was 25 Expeditions. Anytime there's a redesign, and like Strop is it's a new trim level. So they're going to do some quality hold, and I'm not surprised.
Not only is it new, it's also an iconic trim level has some meaning behind it.
Yes. So on the Expedition, anytime there's a redesign, they'll do a quality hold for 4 to 5 weeks on all those. So what'll happen is the vehicles that first get built, they're going to get held for 4 or 5 weeks. Well, and I saw this happen, and I said this on my own because we ordered a trimmer originally, and it's coming in. She goes, well, that's extended length, right? I said, no, it's not. She goes, I think I'm going to need an extended length. So I ordered a platinum for us as well. About a month later, it got scheduled to be built a month after the other one. I'm like, oh, gosh, they're going to come in a month apart. I can't keep these vehicles, the trimmer here for a month before you decide. But I said, but wait a minute, it's going to be on a quality hold. They might actually get here about the same time. So what happened is once they got the okay to buy after the quality hold was lifted after 5 weeks, that's when that Expedition that I had built, it got built and got shipped right out. So it's actually on its way here, whereas my one built a month before, it's still on quality hold. So there's nothing wrong. It's just, I imagine this, and maybe Allie could actually reference and let us know this if this is how the case. But in my mind, because I've never seen this happen, is that these vehicles are built and they need to do a quality hold, so they put them in a parking lot. Right. And they start loading them up and start, the ones in the first are clearing the back, and then they put the next ones in front of them and then in front of them. So my guess is the one that's first built is clearing the back
up against a fence
or something. And then once they get the okay to buy, they're not going to, like, people are like, well, wouldn't it be first in and first out? I'm like, No, do you know how much chaos it would be if they took a vehicle that just came off the factory that is ready to ship and got the okay to buy, and they didn't just, it'd be more fluid if they let that go out. If they went and said, okay, we need to grab that one, clear back over there. Can you move all those up? Let's get that one out. It was first out, and let's park this one back there. It would be a fiasco.
Well,
so,
and we have some firsthand experience of what those lots look like.
we did see when we went to Detroit, we did see some in
In a parking lot.
in a parking lot by a hotel.
Like our hotel was sitting there, and I look out the window. I'm like, "That's a lot of Fords. What's
all F-150s.
What's all over there?" So we actually went down. We could see those were a bunch of F-150s being held.
Yep. Well, and we did see that. We saw some of our members with Mavericks where once it got the okay to buy, and I've seen this now with several models going through.
Yeah.
Since we've been doing this live stream, and that we've seen vehicles once they get that okay to buy and the quality is good enough, they build enough of them, they can go, yes, this is good, quality is good, let's go ahead and let those release out. So then you have the ones coming off right off that factory line that's going to go straight through in the normal process, and then you have the ones that were pulled off and being held. They eventually they will get those and they will ship them out, but it will take longer.
Yeah. So Steve says blend date is when things are actually being built. Differs on models, and if it's body on frame or unibody.
Yes. Steve, one of our friendly guys from one of the plants, right?
Retired,
but yeah, worked at one place. Yeah.
Yep. And she says, correct, it's not organized.
Yeah. So, but you gotta think about it more. If I'm in that same situation, I would, if Ford, that is the most easiest way to get things out, right? If it comes right off the factory and it's ready, you take it right over to the rail yard to get it shipped out instead of putting it in a holding yard and then try to pull and switch. That would just, that's chaos. Instead, have a group of people saying, okay, now let's go get those other vehicles out. And they are getting out probably.
Yeah.
Because we actually did see this, because I can look at our orders on our expeditions. We have 7 that say shippable and that are in transit. Well, not all of them have left. Mine is still sitting in Kentucky as of a couple of days ago. But they're all have been said they're shippable, and I have 7 that aren't. Well, of the 7 that say shippable, they're not the ones that were just built. It's a mixture of both. We have a couple that were built in February. I think of the first 4, 1 had just been built, mine. And the other 3 were ones that had been built in February. So you're getting a little mixture of both. And so they're pulling from both places and getting them shipped out. So
I just like that comment.
2 gates. There you go. Right. And I have a road in the back, and right. I don't know what it looks like, but if Ford
organized
if Ford
chaos.
wants to invite me and show me around that time frame, I'd be happy.
I would love to see this process. I would love to see. I've only been in one factory. I would love to see the automated factories.
Yeah, because we went into one where they pretty much push the cars.
It was more manual.
Yeah. Anyway, but
all right. Yes. So Dwight Ducker, our topic is employee pricing. We actually have, scheduling questions. That's where we got off on this. So we will get to our main topic here in a little bit. We just wanted to touch on some of our scheduling questions while we are here.
Yep. And we usually do recalls next, or actually do our news.
Yep.
Which won't take us long.
Oh, by the way, he wants to know if Ford compensates us in any way for our channel.
Nope.
No. We are compensated.
We don't even get extra allocations or anything, or else you guys would all get your Ranger Raptors.
We are compensated in the fact that they don't tell us to shut down and not be a media source at a dealership.
Because none of this stuff is proprietary on it or anything.
They allow us to continue our channel with what we know.
All right, let's get into some more. All right. Oh, left that comment up there. Okay. So there you go. We don't really have a lot of dealer news. The dealer news that we have is what we're going to talk about as a topic here in just a little bit. But last week I did mention there were some order guides that got updated at the beginning of the month, and so I do want to go over. I did go through them because just to kind of go through some of them. So first off, one of them is the 25 model year Maverick. It had a few changes to it, and one of them you'll notice actually. The brand manager and I talked about some of the different wording on some of the window stickers. and on the Copilot 360 package, and how it says Copilot 360 Assist, right? And that's on there. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of misleading because it makes it imply that they have the other package that gets bliss and everything. You need to really got to take that off the window sticker under the options because it's a no charge option. So what they've done is they've actually updated the package. The Copilot 360 package is now called 1.0. And then the other package is called, is it really called Assist 2.0? Get rid of the Assist. Anyway, the other one's called Assist 2.0, which is what you'll see in the standard on Lariat, Tremor, and Lobo 702A. So they did update that in the order guide. And with doing that too, so on all like trademarks and different things like that, they have the little TM on there. So it looks like that now the Ford Copilot 360 is a registered trademark. So it has an R instead of the TM. Again, little things, right? What else? That's the main thing. They just changed the Copilot to Copilot 1.0 now, and all the pages that list that. So that was a big change. Looks like that's pretty much all the changes that I have here for that. I was thinking there was something else on here. Let me keep going through these. Yep. Well, most of them are just that and updating it from the TM to the R. They did add the max payload to the, where are my glasses? Right here. Right on me. The max payload, they did update that on the order guide as well. So the hybrid gets 1,500 pounds of max payload. EcoBoost gets 1,500 on the all-wheel drive. Whereas the hybrid all-wheel drive is 1,400, probably because some of the weight is from the batteries, so it's 100 pounds. That's why you lose 100 pounds. The Lobo and Tremor, the Lobo is 1,045 pounds, whereas the EcoBoost Tremor is 1,140. And all that has to do with added weight that was put to those vehicles. The all-wheel drive system, the springs, and that kind of stuff. Some of those other things that add to the weight and take away. They also did get us the numbers for your miles per gallon, so they updated that as well. So your hybrid is now 42 miles per gallon in the city, 35 in a highway on the front-wheel drive. The all-wheel drive is 40 and 34. And then they also have the EcoBoost all-wheel drive is 22 and 30. And then your advanced four-wheel drives for your Tremor is 21 and 27, whereas it's 30 on the highway for your Lobo, believe it or not. So, which that was a lot of fun to drive the other day. So, yeah, so they did update some of that stuff in your performance. So it's 250 horsepower on the EcoBoost, 280 pound-feet of torque on all EcoBoost, whether it be Lobo, Tremor, or a regular all-wheel drive. And then it's 191 horsepower and 155 pound-feet of torque on your hybrids. So that's been updated on that. So there you go. That's that. That's that. Recycle that. All right, and then the other order guide that was updated was the Lightning, F-150 Lightning. They changed the security code, got a registered trademark, so they updated that on there in all the different places it's there. I think that might be the only thing. There was something else. I think they actually added the word wireless or removed the word wireless on the Lariat. So XLT and Flash will have optional wireless secure code keyless entry keypad, but the Lariat and Platinum will be wired. So that way they remove the word wireless from those on the order guide. So also on the Platinum, they had it in here on the interior. They removed authentic real wood in cut on the door and media tray lid. They removed that wording altogether from the order guide. So I don't know if they just removed that from the vehicle, decided not to do that, but that has been removed from the order guide on the Lightning. All right, on the Escape, was added on this. Escape, they revised the wording on the headlamps description on the ST line Elite, Platinum, and plug-in hybrid premium package to say LED light bar. So that's been updated in those different places. So it used to say coast to coast LED light bar. Now it just says LED light bar. So they took out the coast to coast because typically that wasn't right, because it implied that the LED light bar went all the way from one end to the other with no separation, but there isn't. There is a separation where the hood is. So that's why it really needed to say LED light bar. So wise choice there. All right. And the Bronco, the big boy Bronco, they actually changed the Strop edition. Originally, it said it was not available for fleet, and now they're saying fleet available only for military sales. I don't think it should be available for fleet at all, but that's fine. So that was changed. Also, they removed the wording. They removed late availability from the base pages. So on all the base model pages that was told it was a late availability, they removed that because it's been available since the beginning. So that's fine. And then, yeah, they changed the wording on the Strop again to say from not available to fleet to fleet available only for military sales. So that was that. All right. Any questions, any of that? I'm going to have to use my glasses. My eyes are tired today.
So am I.
My allergies have just been getting to me the last couple of days.
I was going to say, is it the sun?
I don't know. These cold nights and everything else. I don't know. Anyway.
I don't have any specific questions on that. I'm still getting questions on employee pricing.
Okay. We're close.
Close.
It's right here. It's
How many recalls do we have?
Actually, there's quite a few. We need to move recalls to a different time. We need to move it to the end.
Maybe just for this episode.
There are some recalls. Okay, we'll bypass recalls.
If you were here for the recalls, join us after our topic.
We'll move it to the end.
We'll get to them.
All right. So, man, everybody's interested in this employee pricing. Okay, we'll jump in there.
We've never done this before where we've pushed another segment aside to get to the main topic. So
there are quite a few of recalls, but I haven't looked through them, so I'd kind of like to look through them anyway. But that's right. All right.
Y'all are lucky tonight.
Yeah. All right, we'll jump into this then so we can answer your questions on this. So Ford came out. So the tariffs launched last the 3rd, right? We talked about it last week. We talked about the implications it could have on the tariffs. Let me tell you, I had no idea about this employee pricing was going to happen when we talked on our live stream. Like even the dealers were just like floored by this. So I want to kind of go through the timeline on this. So April 1st, we talked about the tariffs and that the tariffs were going to hit, how it would impact. And I told you what Ford's response was that right now they make more vehicles in America than anybody else does. They employ more hourly employees in America than anybody else does as well. And that isn't to say that they have the highest percentage, because Tesla does, but Tesla doesn't make more vehicles than Ford does in the United States. So that was basically what they said. They also said that prices wouldn't go up, is what they said too. So that was a big thing that they told dealers as here's here's how we're, addressing this, make more cars in America than anybody, and we will not lower our price or not raise our prices. With that said, we didn't know what was going to happen on Wednesday. It was late Wednesday when they got together for the dealers and announced they usually talk about rebates that are coming out. What's the sales goal for this next year or next month? Here's what the incentives are going to be, right? So we're waiting for incentives and everything. And they said, we want to show you, before we get into incentives and talking about that, we want to show you our marketing plan. We were really excited about this for coming up in April. And we're like, okay, so we're kind of watching this commercial. As dealers, we're like, okay, well, you got these commercials and everything. We're watching this commercial. And then we're like, wait a minute, did that say employee pricing? Because they didn't even clue us in or say anything. And all of a sudden we watch the commercial and it says, from America, for America, employee pricing. And we're like, wait a minute, did that? So they said, in case you missed it, we're going to play this again. And they played it again without saying anything.
Did they have you guys on a video call? So could they see your guys'?
Well, they might not, maybe. But
okay, no, they should have done it on a video call with the dealers to get the dealers' reactions. Because
no, you might, if you could read lips, there might have been some F words in there. Anyway, so that came out and it launched without any because dealers like our websites, nobody was ready for this. You saw what we were going through.
Yeah.
Because we do our pricing a little bit differently than most dealers because we don't have rebates on our website. We put, our MSRP, our discount, and here's our internet price includes rebates. We do things a little differently because half the time when you're on a website provider, they're not 100% locked into what Ford's doing, and it can be delayed. And so we want to make sure it's always right. So we just do it ourselves. So we had to go through, and also as a dealer, we do a lot of aftermarket stuff.
Yes.
A huge aftermarket department does great with window tints, liners, and everything else.
We preload it.
About every one of our vehicles has something added to it. So when you talk about, because they're basically what Ford said is that we're going to do employee pricing or below. So they told dealers it's A-plan pricing or below, not above. So the implication, we can go below. And so, when we look through it, we'll talk about this in just a second, but there are some winners and some losers from March to April. I'm going to tell you that. There are some big winners for a lot of people. And so it's a great deal for them. But some of our vehicles, we noticed the price actually went up because what they did was they took away rebates. So in a lot of vehicles, like in March, F-150, I said I'd talk about it later. I'm talking about it now. F-150 was one of those. $5,000 in rebates that was available in March. $500 rebate or $1,000, depending if you're XLT, is what you get in April. But you get A-plan.
Right.
So depending on the dealership, we advertise pretty much. We don't do necessary invoice pricing, but we're very competitive with the pricing. If you actually compare our prices, we're pretty darn close to invoice in a lot of our vehicles. So a dealership like us, if we went A-plan with their rebates, the price would have went up. So we had to justify some things and do some accounting adjustments so that we could. In our pricing, we never let a price go up. If incentives change from month to month, our price will not go back up. It'll stay down. It'll stay at least where it was, if not go down. That's just what we believe. We don't think that you can raise a price on a customer, so we don't typically do that. So you'll probably notice on ours where our prices stayed about the same, but we lost rebates. So you'll see, like on ours, we have, and not, I guess I'm talking about us and not everybody else, but we have Broncos where A-plan would probably be saving you a couple $1,000s. We have them $5,000 off. No, wait. No, we have $5,000 below A-plan. That's what we are. We're $5,000 below A-plan. Now, also, we had a hailstorm come through. So Tuesday night, we were at the live stream. We were here. Tornado starts landing over here. We're like, you guys better get home.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Mom's messaging, hey, did you know there's a tornado headed for you? We're like, no. We packed up. We're like, well, we should probably head out. We packed up, and then as we were leaving, we heard tornado sirens. All right, let's get home.
That means the tornado has landed somewhere. And sure enough, it was at Canopolis Lake. For those of you that were at the Maverick event and you went across the dam, the Canopolis Dam,
it's very common.
They had two different tornadoes that landed around there.
One hovered over the water, almost turned into a water spout. And then the other one touched down on the side. But it's very common for them to touch down out there during this time of year. Yeah,
we see that. But they need the water, right? See, and like here, Salina, we have two rivers that intersect and cross, so they get confused. That's why we typically it'll go around us.
But we had one touchdown, first time in,
yeah,
I don't know how long.
Well, I don't know if it touched down, but
it touched down for a couple of seconds. They said,
yeah,
it didn't have enough power to tear anything up. It didn't have enough wind pressure to do anything, but it did have enough water and vapor to actually create the funnel as it came down and touched down for a couple of seconds.
But anyway, so we had a storm, which means we got some hail. So some of our units, we had all of our units inspected, and some of them got hail. Some's really light, not anything. So all of ours does include $500 of minor hail damage. If you want it fixed, then it would, we would have to adjust our price at $500. But if you want to take it as is, then you get to save another $500. So all of ours are at least $500. But because of that too, in the A-plan pricing, we didn't. Some of our vehicles will not have the financing deal that we have going on. What we normally have always had going on is if you finance, it's $1,000 less, which is what our internet price is. Some of our vehicles, like the Maverick, does not have that financing included in there. So it is.
Yeah.
Some vehicles do, some don't. An easy way to know is if it's saving at least $1,000, then it usually is included.
Yeah.
Some of ours where you see that we're $500 below. Well, actually, you guys won't see because it's a plan pricing. Oh man, this is difficult. But anyway, so that's basically how it works is a plan. So maybe what I should do is pull up an invoice so you guys can see what we're kind of talking about. But basically, you're able to purchase any vehicle from almost any dealer. The dealer does not have to participate in this. But if they do it for one, they have to do it with all their vehicles, all their sales. So they can't do this for one person and not everybody else. That's actually some sort of lawsuit.
That's why you'll see some dealers out there not going with the A-plan pricing. Some dealers have chosen not to do it. But it's probably a lawsuit for, prepping that you can't discriminate. And so if you have one price down, you should do it for those because you can't do customer to customer because that might be seen as discrimination. I'm not sure, but.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
So let's look at let me try to pull up an invoice on one of our Broncos here. All right, so we're going to pull up one of the Broncos. So basically, employee pricing is a plan. So there's several different plan pricings. We as a dealership employee get D plan. A plan is better than a dealership employee. And there are some exclusions as well, some model exclusions we'll get to as well. Actually, maybe now is the best time to do that, talk about that. So there are some exclusions. So the Raptor family does not get this special pricing. So when I say Raptor family, we're talking Bronco Raptor, we're talking Ranger Raptor, F-150 Raptor, and Raptor R. They do not qualify for this. Also, 25 model year Super Duty. Now, I think Ford Authority had mentioned, and it looks like in their article that it looked like it was excluding all Super Duties. 24 model year is included in this for 24 Super Duty, but not 25.
What about Strop?
And we'll get to that.
Okay.
And also 25 Expedition does not qualify. Appreciate that since I got one coming in. Yep. At least I still get D-plan. And then they did mention Mustang Specialty, which would be your dark horse. And they mentioned Bronco Specialty, which I'd assume means Heritage and Limited Edition and Strop.
Okay.
I'd assume. Allie might be able to if she's looked one of those up, but we don't have one in yet, so I can't say yes or no, because how I'll know is when I pull a Smart Vincent, it'll show me whether or not there's dealer cash, because how Ford's doing this is everybody gets a plan pricing from the invoice, and then they're going to basically comp the dealer back that difference. So as a dealer, we competitively price. If there's a dealer out there that's still pricing at MSRP, they're probably not happy about this.
No.
But a dealership like us, we're happy about this. This is a win-win for us. In fact, there are situations where now, like a Maverick customer, where we were on 24 Mavericks, we were like $2,000 off. We're now actually a little bit better than $2,000 off, but now we actually are getting money from Ford. So we're happy with this. So a lot of our Mavericks dealers are going to get back anywhere from like $1,200 to $1,400 on some of those Mavericks. Well, before we got nothing from Ford over invoice. Well, now we get that money. So that actually, now we love selling the Mavericks right now with this A-plan pricing because it's a win for them and it's a win for us. We make more than we did before on a Maverick. Yep. So like I said, there are some wins. Maverick, Bronco Sport that didn't have any rebates. That's a huge win.
Especially for all those dealers that have 24s that just came back in the inventory that they need to get rid of.
Right.
This is a huge win. Go get your Maverick now.
Yeah. Well, we noticed we actually had one of our members, he's in here,
that was working a deal.
That he was working the deal. We didn't close it up within the month, which I'm glad we didn't. And he, I said, hey, this just came out. We need to redo your numbers and restructure your deal so that you can get this deal because you just saved yourself like $1,000. I don't know. It was like $1,000 or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, he got a better deal. So, all right, let me pull this invoice on this one here. And so you can kind of see this. So maybe
Allie did say that there's nothing on Strop.
Okay. That's what I thought too. Okay. Cause I couldn't get anything to pull up, on one that we had a VIN number on, but I just thought maybe it was a system. So here's one. So you can see MSRP is 53,095. Invoice is 51,199. So that's what a dealer would own it for. So a lot of people are like, well, you have holdback and everything. So Okay, whatever you want to. That's fine. But here's basically from what I'm understanding is that A plan pricing takes your invoice, subtracts your holdback and something else, I think, to get you to your A plan price. Anyway, but I don't know how they figure it. All I care is that I know what the numbers are because they're on the invoice. So A plan and Z plan you can see is $49,398. D plan is $49,698. I guess it's only a little bit different on this particular one. So now look at that. You get a save. You're saving quite a bit of money, almost $2,000 if you had a dealer that was doing invoice pricing. Now there was $500 rebate last month. So March it was $500. You'd be, if it was a dealer that was doing 51.2, it's 50,007 is what they were pricing it. You'd still be saving $1,500. So, but like I said, on this particular unit, you can see on our website, we're actually pricing 49.3 and we're subtracting like $5,000 from that. So we're like 45 on these. But again, 5 of that is from hail disclosure, and I think 1,000 is financing. But there you go. So, but we're still several thousand because we had a price that way before this started. So we can't go up on price, right? So there were several of our models that got much better and several that stayed the same. But again, big winners are the ones where you didn't see any rebates on some of these models. So 25 Bronco, big winner, right? Bronco Sport's a big winner. Maverick, again, A plan. When's the next time you're going to be able to see a Lobo with $2,000 off?
Right.
I mean,
yeah,
they're close to 2,000. I don't know what the exact number is on that. But like if you look at, like I looked at some of ours on hail, like Jeff. So Jeff had his, my son had his car parked in our yard. It got plummeted. He's got hail over the hood, and it broke it cracked one of the tail lights assemblies on his Mach-E. But the cars here, the wind wasn't as strong like that. I went right over our house.
Right.
So we got the winds were bad, and so the hail was coming down. The wind's just basically just pushing it right into his car. He wasn't sheltered at all. But where our car was, I do have some on the hood a little bit, but ours was kind of more sheltered because of the way our house is. But anyway, so same way here at the dealership. Some of them, they're in rows, so some of them don't really have anything. Maybe a few on the hood.
And I think
and a lot
they
of
were
them
facing the right direction to not get it on the hood.
Yeah,
or
and we will,
and
we're going to gladly, any customer, like especially we were working deals, people that had vehicles that were sold. Luckily, like Anthony's was inside, so his didn't get any.
Yes.
But anybody wants theirs fixed, of course, we will.
We did have
raise the price 500.
We did have the precarious situation where, because it was end of the month, so we had pushed a couple of deals through. And the vehicles were sitting outside waiting for transport to pick them up in the morning. They got hailed on. Well,
so we had to fix those before we get.
They're no longer ours, so there's nothing for us on our end. They're technically his.
Oh, because
they've signed paperwork. They've finished everything. It was just switching hands to the transporter. So I haven't heard what happened with that, but we did have that precarious situation where it was in that limbo.
I think we had a bunch of them running through and getting fixed.
Yeah.
So So
I know one salesman had 3 of them.
So anyway, that's kind of the way that works. So yeah, Ranger Raptors wouldn't qualify. 25 Super Duties.
Now, are all of our vehicles here eligible for the $1,000 financing on top of it?
Not all of them. So like I said, if you see one that has, you can't see the pricing. No. You're just going to have to call. You're just going to have to ask us individually. Because like I said, we have a Google Doc that tells every single one of our vehicles and where they're at. And I can tell you that typically like some of the ones like Bronco Sport and Maverick will not have it. Some of the ones where we have more significant incentives down below A plan, we will still do it. So that's why it says on where applicable in our disclaimer is for that reason. Yeah. So
I agree, Anthony. Maverick Mike does rock.
So anyway,
Maverick Mike
Moore. Yeah, so that's always been a deal with us. With all our vehicles would get $1,000 if you finance with us, and that was our internet price was actually based on that. That if you didn't finance it has to go up 1,000 just because it's already most people will finance. But yeah, so now we have to right now it's not every vehicle in just some of those situations, we didn't have enough that we could cover, we could do that with. And here's the case, we actually were going to do away with that altogether, because normally when you do, and I think in this situation it's different, but normally when you do a special plan pricing, you can't give anything away for free. You can't include anything. So whenever like we had people that want to do X plan and then do the $1,000 or the free shipping, we couldn't include that. Remember?
Yeah.
On those plan pricing. So, and I don't know on this if it's something we can or can't technically or not, because I don't think it's necessarily, they're not using an A plan pin. So I think we don't have to abide by those rules.
It's a rebate, basically, right?
No, it's just, that's the plan. And then basically we give them that price based on A plan, and they give us enough dealer cash to cover any negative we would have, plus some. So, yep.
Okay.
Anyway.
So do you think with employee pricing, there is any room at all to haggle?
Probably not. I mean, but here's the thing is the whole point behind plan pricing is you don't have to haggle.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why they did X plan for a lot of people. Like, hey, I get X plan. What's the benefit of that? Well, the benefit is you don't have to go in and haggle somebody from MSRP down to invoice, because X plan is pretty much invoice pricing, or pretty darn close. You could see, here's we'll put that back up. On this one here, you can see there's your X plan. Here's your invoice. It's $300. It's $200 over X plan. And what's the benefit of that? Well, like we used to tell people, no reason to use your X plan pin when we're going to sell it to you at invoice, right? Let's save you the money. Plus, also on X plan, what you do when you do X plan is you have a set doc fee. They can't, some dealers' doc fees are all different. Well, if you abide by an X plan rule, it's $95. Yeah. So we would tell people, well, $95, if our doc fee is, that's $200, that's $300. Well, our doc fee, when it went over $300, then X plan was better for you.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the way that works. My D plan for dealership employees, I get that price. I can't negotiate from that.
Right.
That's the price I get. I have a set doc fee, and it is what it is. And so you don't have to haggle. So
yeah. Maverick Lariat comes standard with moonroof, doesn't it?
No.
Okay, never mind. Anyways, if I ordered a Maverick in February and it's not scheduled to be built until May, will it still qualify for A plan?
No. There's what I was kind of hoping somebody would bring that up, and I actually had forgotten to talk about. So if you take delivery of a vehicle in April and May, or order a vehicle in April and May, because if you order, you'll lock in this deal. If you take delivery, you lock it in. So when you do incentives, you can do either the protect date, which is what the incentives were when you ordered, or the sale date, which is what it is when you take delivery. So here's where it gets a little bit difficult, because people that have a vehicle coming in these months, great news. They can take the A plan instead of what they thought they were going to have. People that order in these months, they can lock it in as well. So then if the vehicle can be built July, June, July, whenever, but if they order now, they get locked into this. But people that have one on order that they ordered before this started, and it doesn't come in until after it, they can't participate in this, which really sucks.
Yeah.
For those.
Because we had someone that ordered their vehicle, and now after talking about what vehicles don't qualify, his customer ordered a Bronco, and it's being built this month. He's like, can they get it? I'm like, no, because it's not going to get here in time, most likely in time for this pricing. To get it, to lock it in, they would have had to order it while this is in effect. I mean, they could reorder. He's like, then we would be with a vehicle that may or may not sell. I'm not giving him that option. I'm like, well, you could tell them that option and see what they say.
Oh, you mean like if the vehicle is like, have that vehicle come in and not take it?
Yeah.
That would be the other situation. If you are unscheduled on your order, I would reorder. I'd cancel that order and reorder. And here's the other case. Now, keep in mind, there's something else that is and plays into this. We talked about for years, right? And how the live stream started was people had questions about COVP, right?
COVP.
So that never went away. A lot of dealers didn't realize this. If you don't have somebody fill out the COVP paperwork and you don't have it sent in, then you technically can't lock in any incentives. So if you decide to do that, make sure your dealership does the COVP paperwork, because that will not lock in your incentives unless you have signed your paperwork. And that means that when you order the order sheet, you'll have to sign the order sheet. You'll have to sign a buyer's order. Both of those have to be sent in with a copy of your driver's license and a COVP. We should do, it was a big deal for many years, because if your vehicle didn't get built and it got carried over to the next year, a COVP ordered, they'd give you those private offers, right? That got carried over. Well, once we were able to get vehicles and we didn't have issues with carryover orders, dealers stopped doing COVP. And they're like, well, wait a minute, we got to do COVP. And we're like, that never ended. And like, there's a lot of Ford reps that are going, COVP never ended. You should have been COVPing all your orders. And we have been doing it all along.
Right.
I haven't been doing it on my own orders, I'll be honest. My 2 expeditions, I did not do COVP.
Well, but there's a better deal right now, except
not for me. I don't get it. But
do you really need a 25 expedition?
But you need to make sure that if you do that and you're wanting to lock in those incentives, if you order now, make sure your dealership does the COVP. So we can do another video on that again, because that's not new.
COVP.
But a lot of dealers forgot it and said it's not a thing anymore. But it is. It really is.
Mike D said he ordered a second Lobo from a different dealership to guarantee a discount. So, like, if your dealer's like, well, then I'm going to be stuck with your vehicle if it gets here after that discount,
you might check with them. Hopefully they didn't have you put down deposit, then you're out nothing. But then you can go order with a different dealer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm a customer too. I know.
I will say that the Bronco that was on order, he told me the build, it was a very specific build that he was afraid wouldn't sell for us.
Okay. Has it been scheduled, but has it been produced yet?
Correct.
It's been scheduled?
Mm-hmm.
How far out is it?
It's this month.
If it's not too far out, we can change that order. Take off some things that we know that won't help it sell.
True.
I'll
tell you who it is later. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about
Anyways,
it. Usually, just depending, it really is up to, just like with us, we're talking about, it's really up to the dealership what they want to do.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right. What other questions we got? Yeah, there's
okay.
Let's spike this.
Yes. All right. So we have a backlog of questions here.
All right.
1 second. Okay. He has an unscheduled order in Alaska, and he advantage to placing an order in the lower 48.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know if it matters. I will say that probably takes longer to get it to Alaska.
It's almost,
but
I would feel like it's kind of like Hawaii.
I don't think you're losing out on getting it scheduled because you're ordering it with Alaska dealer.
The only other thing I could think of would be allocations. Do they have more or less allocations than a lower 48 place?
But I don't think ordering with other than the dealership, like we said, getting more allocations or whatever. Yeah. But I don't think there is an advantage necessarily.
I mean, then you're saving on shipping or travel and drive time and doing all of that.
But but then you have to deal with that because, like, you know how much it costs to ship one from here to Alaska, right? I mean, now from California to Alaska, probably not near as bad, but
yeah,
you have to deal with that too and figure that out.
Yeah. So I think we went over that one.
Yeah, A and Z is the same, but I think Z is retired factory workers and A is factory workers.
Yeah.
So it's the same number. So A and Z is the same price.
What is the employee pricing for a 25 Maverick Lariat 4-wheel drive?
Really, we have to look up individually. Like we have to, if I'd have to place the order, like I said, all Lariats are the same, and I'd actually have to have a VIN number that I can pull. Like I can't get an A plan on a prefabricated vehicle, so I can't just say generally here's what it is. I could pull up a Maverick Lariat and see if there's that's out there on Locator and then I can get an idea. But again, it's all going to be different based on what you add to the vehicle. Remember that. I mean, you
Yeah.
have a moonroof, you have what do you say? I don't remember.
They're all-wheel drive.
Well, again, hybrid EcoBoost, they're $1,000 difference. I mean, I don't know what engine you're looking at. I mean, there's some specifics to that. I mean, so like this EcoBoost here, I mean, so like on here, they start going, the MSRP starts at 37,000 for an EcoBoost, but they could be over 40,000. So this in here is an EcoBoost Lariat all-wheel drive, right? And if I can I'll pull this up. This in here is an A plan. So it has a sticker price of $37,035 and has an A plan of $35,200 or $35,300. So what is that, about $1,800 that you save on that one?
Not
Right.
bad.
So you get an idea. So it could be up to $2,000 if you're hybrid. So again, that's giving you a general idea of how much you'd save.
Yeah.
But there are dealers that aren't going below MSRP. So that's still $2,000 more than you would have if before.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. When does this expire?
June 2nd.
June 2nd. Let's see. Do prices currently shown on McArthur reflect current A plan pricing?
Yes. And you'll notice, so like I said, we like to cover bases. I don't know. I don't like. We're calling it employee pricing plus, kind of, because like here I'll go ahead and use this. And
by the way, have you seen anything from Alan in the mail? He said he sent something 2 weeks ago.
Yes. On some stickers from a vendor he uses or something, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because he was wondering. He didn't remember if we had shouted it out or not. Could have sworn we did.
Know. I thought so. I don't know. Maybe not.
Sometimes we're looking at the mail, and if he gives me stickers, I run away with them before he can present them.
All right. So let's show this one here. Okay. So like this Maverick we have on our website right now, that is our internet price does include A plan pricing plus $500. So we're $500 below A plan, and that's because of the light hail that we have on it. So this is our disclaimer that we have: is price includes a $500 discount for possible light hail damage and $1,000 financing discount where applicable, and it's not applicable on the Maverick. So see dealer. You have to contact us to see which vehicles would apply for that and which wouldn't. Maverick is not one of those because again, we just don't have the room in that little vehicle to do that. But so that's $2,300, $500 of that is for light hail. So we're basically A plan would be a discount of $1,800 on that. Like I said, if you want it as is, leave it. We can have a salesperson look it over real closely and tell you how many dents and dings it has or whatever. I can tell you almost every vehicle, it's just on the hood. Almost all of them. There's hardly any, or on the roof. Some on the roof and hood.
And if you are wanting pictures of the hail damage to assess if you want it fixed or if you want it left how it is, our salesmen are pretty good about being able to get that for you.
Yeah, and if you want it fixed, then it's just going to be, $500 more. So you'd be $25,278. So pretty easy to do the math on that.
Yeah.
If you want it fixed, and we'll take care of it and get it fixed. And all of our sold units always go to the front of the line to get fixed because we did that last sale we had. What was it, last June or something? We had that, or last May. We went ahead and we fixed them all. Like we started fixing the trucks, the vehicles, and sold ones took priority. But we went ahead and got them all fixed, all of our new vehicles. So we went through and fixed them all, and we left the savings there though.
But we ran into a problem with that because then people were questioning it. I'm like, no, it's fixed, and you get the discount. And then they're like, "Are you sure it's fixed?"
So we had to take it off the website. So at a certain point, we took it off our website once everything was fixed because it was confusing people. But we will, yeah, like I said, a lot of them, and because we have a body shop here and a dentless thing, we can pop all those out and get them all fixed pretty easily. A lot of them are like, we had pea-size hail, so it was like they're all like, most of them are tiny little things. So even a really hot day, it might pop out on their own.
Yeah. Trimmer XLT, can you get 4K toe?
Okay, what are we talking about?
Maverick Trimmer XLT.
Okay, they don't have it. Maverick Trimmer's its own trim now.
Oh, that's right. Can you get 4K toe on the trimmer? I don't think you can.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
You can't get it on Lobo either.
So, yeah, Ragnarcon, that's an impossible one. He was looking at 24 Maverick Trimmer XLT and wanting 4K toe.
Yeah. Nope. And the payload suffers too. It goes from 15 to almost 1100. We talked about that earlier.
Without Copilot 360 and with Copilot 360 standard on Lariat, but not XLT.
So, well, the Copilot 360 2.0 is standard. On XLT, there's a Copilot.
He's looking at 24.
Oh, okay.
24 Trimmer XLT.
Okay, so back then, yes, there was an XLT trimmer. Back then, still can't get the 4K toe, and without the Copilot 360 package, which didn't get you the bliss and cross, so it wouldn't have bliss.
And then he wants it without the moonroof, but it seems everyone has Copilot and moonroof.
Oh, I think that last year you couldn't get a trimmer without the Copilot. That was what a requirement. Remember?
Yep.
Yes. So they'll all have Copilot 360 package on them.
So my brain was right. My brain had it correct.
Moonroof was still an option though.
Laura's just like, just get a 25. LOL.
You may not like the look. I mean, there are some people that just can't get past the look of it.
One of our friends that doesn't like the look of the 25s.
Yeah. So this month we sold 11 Mavericks. 9 out of 11 are 24s.
So Lukey says, who is stupid enough to buy a hail damaged truck for $500 off? What are you getting? $3,000 from insurance? We're doing it all in house, aren't we?
The fixing the hail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we aren't claiming it through insurance.
Well, yeah. I mean, yes, they're all going to have a claim from insurance. So Ford Credit is here. That they're inspecting it. So they're doing they have 2 different appraisers, so they can have some similarities there. Ford Credit is here and has gone through all of our vehicles because we're all floor plan on all of our vehicles. So they're all justified. So some will have more hail damage and it will cost more to fix them. Some, it won't cost $500 to fix them. So it just depends.
So insurance would pay for the cost of what it is, but we are averaging it to $500 per vehicle. Some have $1,000 because it's just that much, or it might be costing more.
Yeah.
So we're only getting what it costs to fix each vehicle, and then we took that price for all of the inventory and averaged it between all of the vehicles.
Correct. And not a big deal if you don't. I mean, if you want to do A-plan pricing, which is what everybody else in the United States is doing, A-plan pricing will fix the hail. We're easy peasy here. We're not trying to scam anybody. So some people are like, hey, I will take it because I know I can take it to a guy that can fix it for $300.
Okay.
And I'm in a win-win because I'm right. Mm-hmm. And some people are like, there's 2 dents there. I'm good with it. I'll just drive it like that. I don't care. I save myself $500. Some people, $500 means a lot to them.
Yeah.
So again, every vehicle has a different amount of hail. And so, yeah. There's no gimmicks here.
Nope. We are completely transparent. If you ask us why we're doing things, we will tell you.
Yeah, we'll tell you.
All right. I think I had another question here. I got a $2,500 loyalty rebate, and dealers are letting me apply it with the employee pricing on the STX truck I'm looking at.
Yes. So any rebates that were there, like those ICI rebates and all that, you still get that with your A-plan pricing.
That's the one I wanted to pop up because I had it in my thoughts earlier. And I forgot.
Yep. Any rebates that apply, military rebate as well. Farm Bureau still valid with this. Public rebates, like I said, a lot of the public rebates went away. Not sure other rebates. So I should have clarified that. But When I say your normal public offers, or what do they call those?
ICI.
Bonus cash, that kind of stuff. But ICI offers, military rebates still apply. Some of those all still apply. You can still get that.
Have you heard anything that Bronco Badlands 24 stop sale?
24. Depends on some of the Badlands. Don't forget that suspension, right?
Yes.
So if it has the shocks, so if it was built before July 27th, I think is the date. So if it was built before July 27th of 2024, then it has the shocks, the old shocks, and they are on recall. If it was built after July 27th, it can be sold. Badlands or Sasquatches. So Sasquatches have the same suspension.
Mm-hmm.
So it's those shocks with the reservoir. They're coming off and they're separating. So they're leaking. So yes, that would include Badlands or Sasquatches built before July 27th or July 27th and before. All of ours, like all of our Sasquatches we have, were built after that. So I looked at all ours. I'm like, oh, we can sell all of ours. None of them are on stop sale. So you might check with that and find your dealers, because not all 24 Badlands are on stop sale. Again, it has to do with the date they were built. So
yep. X-Plan can sometimes be frustrating because I only saved $554 on $40,000 Lariat Maverick. Yeah.
yes, and again,
it's a lower priced vehicle.
Yes, the more expensive the vehicle is, the more savings you're going to have. Like we said, we pulled up, and I can do this with another one to kind of show you how much you'd save.
So that's Maverick, but
let's go to like an F-150, right?
Yes.
And this is good on 25 F-150, which is kind of cool. So let me go to like a Lariat 502A, right? Also, this is good on your electric vehicles, and they still get 0.9% rate for whatever term it is.
Yeah.
A lot of the rates went away for the most part. Some still have 5.9 or something, but all right, let's share this tab.
The dealer conquest for Jeep owners is gone.
That they did away with that, which we kind of like, because there was so much where we fought that a little bit. And so we actually are okay with that. Because we like valid, you have those Ford owners that are like, wait a minute, I don't have a Jeep, but I have bought a Ford last time. Why don't I get anything? So here's an F-150 with a sticker price of $75,735 with a $2,000 package discount. Has an A plan of $66,000. So you're really you're $9,000 off if you include the $2,000 package discount off of MSRP. So you're however you want to look at it, you're $7,000 to $9,000 off on that vehicle. So really, the more expensive the vehicle, the more money you're going to save on this plan pricing, right?
Yeah.
Now you won't save that much on this one, because I just noticed it was built in Tuscany, which probably means it's like a custom truck. So there's probably a package that's not on there you're not seeing. So it's probably at $20,000. It's like our Lightning bolts are that way. We have a plan on the chassis itself, and then we have a $28,000 package added to that.
Yes.
So you're going to have those situations in any of our vehicles. That you're going to notice that on any of our vehicles. Well, you can't pull invoice in any of our vehicles, but some of our Mavericks, they put those special wheels on them. They're $1,000 more. So you'll have that as well. So our price includes that stuff on there too, which is why we had to do it individually, is because we do a lot of custom. Stuff. So
yeah.
All right.
Is it true that Ford offers free driving lessons for all new Mustang owners?
That driving school.
Yes.
So at the Charlotte Raceway, right?
Mm-hmm. Dark Horse Fast Track.
You might have to have a GT. I don't know. They might be all my.
Which member was?
You know what though? I wouldn't be surprised if it's Mike McArthur. He did it. But he bought a GT convertible, I think. So I think he got it. So I don't know if it's GT owners. You might check on that.
Did that?
Yes, and it might be too. It's kind of like Bronco Off-Road, where they're not getting enough Bronco people going to it. They have that available, and they want to make sure people are going to it. So they might have opened it up to EcoBoost owners too.
Yeah.
Or the Mustang.
Ragnarcon, if you found one that fits your criteria, get it. If it's 523 miles away, well, you better get driving.
All right. What other questions? Let's get through these. I know
Okay.
Steven's got one in there.
All right. We have, do Bronco Raptors and Ranger Raptors go by train from Michigan to KC or Council Bluffs to offload for truck transport to Nebraska and Kansas dealers?
Well, I know for Kansas dealers, it goes to Kansas City.
Yes.
I assume Nebraska as well.
Yeah, because it's right there in that cookie cutout, right?
Yeah.
The bite, the bitten cookie part, the river border.
No, that's Missouri, I think of.
No,
Let's
but
move on.
Kansas City's right up there.
Yes, Kansas City is, well, Iowa's on the line too, kind of close up there in Kansas City. And
Anyways,
Nebraska's
it's close to Nebraska.
Yes.
That was my whole thing. Anyways, Maverick gains horsepower and torque by using 93 octane fuel as the engine's ECU is designed to adjust to the higher octane fuel up to 10 horsepower from Maverick Truck Club.
Sweet. Okay.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Any idea how long ground effects take to do their thing? I'm not sure what ground effects are.
You mean, are they the ones that are adding the like on the Lobo one, adding that stuff?
Probably.
I don't know. Probably usually like a week. I don't know. I'm not sure.
How about a Transit mid-roof E150 short wheelbase XLT rear door windows?
What about it? What's the question? That you wanna?
I'm not.
We got some Transit out here. Actually, we sold almost all of them. We had 5.
Yeah.
We sold 2 of the passenger ones.
Where are they?
Got one left.
E-Transit? I don't know.
E-Transit? We have one coming.
E150 short wheelbase XLT rear door windows.
I think ours is an E. Well, E-Transits, there's not E150. It's I think he's talking about the Econoline 150.
The mid-roof?
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, there you go. I have a convertible EcoBoost. The
Okay.
Mustang experiences for all Mustangs. He goes April 28th.
Sweet.
I knew you were either going there or just got done.
All right.
Okay. I have one from Steven Lucero. He says you might remember him.
He bought a couple of Broncos from us.
And 2 Mavericks. But he's interested in trading a Lexus for a Lobo. What's the process due to the distance from New Mexico to Kansas?
Well, either you can drive it, your trade-in up and drive yours back, or there's transport both ways.
Yep. Now, as for processing the sale, you take pictures of your vehicle, send them to us. Yep. We show them to our used car manager who does our appraisals. He gives you the number. Then you go through the process of purchasing it, just like you would for an out-of-state sale, like we've done before. Getting
appraisal on it and numbers on it are not too difficult. But then
we make it easy.
Yeah, but actual trading it in, you would have to. I mean, most people will drive theirs up and pick ours up and drive back.
Now, what's other version? Slogan? Buying cars the easy way. Is that what it is?
Something like that.
All right. That's all the questions I had pulled. If I missed yours, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, if you have a question we didn't answer, drop it in there, and we will answer that. So we don't want to.
Owners who love the Lobo grill and want it on their own truck. Oh yeah, I think you were asking about that. If you can get the Lobo grill and put it on the other vehicles. As for a 24, I'm not sure if it'll fit on a 24 since they redesigned the lower fascia of it as well.
I would say probably not.
Yeah.
Just like people asked about that on a Bronco Sport. They wanted the Bronco Sport like lower fascia. And I'm like, you don't understand. It's not just the bumper.
No,
the lower fascia is going to have to be redone.
A lot.
Right. And same way on that. Like people have mentioned about putting the fog lights from a Lobo on their Lariat. Well, someone in Maverick Truck Club showed, here's what it looks like. You're going to have to replace that whole bottom bumper and fascia.
Yeah.
It's not just putting fog lights in that
Yeah.
opening. It's not gonna
But
fit. It doesn't fit quite right because
if
it is
you
totally
have
different.
a Maverick 25, you can switch out your grill for a Lobo grill
Should be able to.
between the 25s.
Yeah, it may not be the easiest process, but I mean, you'd have to get one from a dealer because you're not really in
Yeah.
aftermarket's not
You'd
gonna
have to
it
find
out
a
there.
dealer with a Lobo that will order it.
And it might take a little while to get those in stock because they're
They like to hold them. The first year or two, they like to keep all of the parts for their production line.
well, and then also you got people that are gonna get in wrecks, so they're gonna want enough of them to help take care of those people that get in an accident. But
Yes.
but you can try.
Tim and
Find
Sarah,
one.
I sent an email to Tim with the tag on the door jamb as well as the mileage. How many other photos do you need? A couple of photos,
We'll
the
have
driver's seat, passenger seat, back seat, and then a couple from each side, front, back. That's pretty much it. Under the hood.
Our salespeople will handle the whole process on that, so we can just get it. We'll just pass it on to them.
Yep.
Yep, because they do it every day. I'm more focused on the marketing side of things, and I know all about the vehicles. But we'll have them.
Yeah.
They know how to do all that.
If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me through the McArthur phone number. Ask for Tim or Sarah, and I can help you out. Yeah, we can get you over.
Kind of, you look at the Lobo grill, it is a straight, that kind of up and down, although they are closer together than what the Jeep is. But I guess I could probably see where you're coming from there.
Yeah.
So. All right. Yeah. So.
We'll get you passed over in the morning.
Yep. Yeah, we're the only ones here. No one here.
Maybe
not even a janitor tonight.
Louise is even gone.
Yeah, she already left. All right. Anything else on that? So employee price, like I said, there's a lot of models that are a win on that. A lot of them are about maybe the same. F-150s, depending on the F-150, depending on the dealership. Again, that's a big key. Is I like to say is if you're at a progressive dealership that is like for us, we do things a lot differently. We move our units along, which is why we get allocations. Like for us, we didn't see like really a lot of the vehicles move a lot in price with the rebates going away and the A plan. But some vehicles does save you quite a bit of money.
Yeah. Do you know what percentage of sales come in through social media versus the typical local sales?
Well, we try to track that up, but if the people calling and such, they don't always tell us, where they saw us or whatever. But because I don't want people to dive into what we do here, but we get, we're aware of like what the channel has done to help,
Yeah.
I get some stuff, but we'll talk more about that. We can talk more about that in our member live stream.
I have 2 vehicles that have been unshippable for over a month: Expedition Platinum Ultimate and F-150 Raptor. Any idea what's causing these delays? Expedition, they're on quality hold. And so, at first it was they didn't have the okay to buy, so they weren't able to ship those out. They now have the okay to buy, but they may still be on quality hold, or they're working through the backlog of not being able to ship some of those out.
I think on the F-150 Raptor, we've received one. We haven't seen them. They're going out slowly. Again, quality is important, right? So, but they'll go out. They're starting to go out. So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just curious as to what percentage of F-150s are power boost.
I don't know what percentage is built, but I can tell you that right now they're saying they have a full open demand on power boost, which means that they can build everyone that is put in there. So they are saying there is no constraint on power boost whatsoever. If a person orders one, they can get one. So, so I don't know. They're really saying what their capacity is anymore on the power boost or what their planned production rate is. And really the biggest ratio on that is what trim level it is, or whether or not it's power boost.
Yep. Have we had a lot of interest with the new Lobo Maverick?
So we initially got what, 6 in, or was it 8? 6.
6.
We had 2 whites, 2 grays, and 2 blues. The 2 white ones sold within a week,
Yeah.
right, of the video going out. So
Yep.
we did a walk around on the video or on the white one,
Mm-hmm.
and then within a week, both white ones sold.
Yep.
And then we received 2 more whites and 2 blacks recently.
Yes.
So now we have 8 again. So they're doing pretty well. And I think right now, if somebody wanted the Lobo and they're kind of on the fence, now I say this, I still think a 50, there are some people that, 702A would be great. We got to remember the 702A Lobo is $40,000. You can buy a 402A like what we have for 35.
Right.
35.5, I think, is where they're at. And again, with light hail on it. So not too bad a deal. That's a little bit different price range. And I really do think that 402A is one that I think will sell better than a 702A.
Yeah.
I say that, but then I feel like on the regular Mavericks that we've sold more Lariats than we have XLT and XLs right now. But like I said, this month we've sold 11 Mavericks, 9 are 2024s, and all of them are XLTs. Gotta remember that too. Yes. So far, yeah, we sold 11. We're averaging 2 a day.
My gosh.
On Mavericks.
They're booking.
Yeah. Well, and
we're
now
only
with
7 days, 8 days into the month.
Well, and then we're about 5 days into this new, what that came out on Thursday about the employee pricing.
So with that, I picked up a 25 Lariat on X Plan April 1st. Now, 1 day later, the A plan is announced. Will Ford do anything for me?
Ford may not. You have to talk to your dealer. Ford will say it's between you and your dealer. So whether or not they'll basically redo that deal or not, it's up to them.
Yeah.
See, that was the one thing we had. Somebody that was working on that. If we had done that deal, a lot of times on these deals, especially if you're doing it through like Ford Credit or something, those are automatically like done. Like you send that deal over, when you sign paperwork and everything, and they're done, they send it over to Ford that night, and the deal is done.
Yeah,
I mean, it's basically the loan started right then, and there's nothing that they can really do. So I think, I don't know. I don't work in finance, but maybe there's something else that can be done. But you'd have to talk to your dealership. But
are Lobo seats cloth or vinyl?
Ford does not call them vinyl. They're Active X. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's vinyl, but I've been in vinyl seats and I've been in Active X, and I can tell you they are not the same. They are not vinyl seats.
Yeah.
I have Active X in my mach-e, and we have them in our Expedition. And in fact, Barb, your mom's in here. She can tell you whether or not she thinks they're leather, but I think they call them Active X for a reason. They're active wear. And so what you're going to notice on those is they're not leather. But if you actually had a genuine leather seat, there are a lot of manufacturers that say they have leather, and they're not real leather. There's something like what Ford does, is Ford's just actually able to tell you that they're an Active X or a different material. But to my opinion, they're more comfortable seats. They're more forgiving seat. And also, when you put a stain on these seats, I can wipe mine clean. If it's true leather, they're going to absorb on that into the leather. You won't get it out. And so that is the difference, unless you have a leather cleaner, of course. But I think the Active X is a great combo. See, we went from a Lincoln vehicle with Bridge of Wear leather to an Expedition with Active X. And they're pretty nice.
Mom says they're better than leather. They don't show signs of wear. So, yeah. Will you be doing a test drive of my Bronco Sport for tomorrow's Built Wild Wednesday?
I was hoping if you're okay with that, we might need to chat and see what kind of what I can do for test driving.
What signature do we need? What papers do we need to send over to you to sign?
What's my mileage requirements? So anyway, so I was thinking about it. So, and I'm not trying to it's really crazy because I know that there are several people went to the Lobo and the Bronco Sport media drive, which was really awesome. And by the way, guys got to watch All Train Nation's video on it. Dave and Kelly did a great job on their test drive. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it yet. I watched it this morning.
Not.
It's kind of nice on a Tuesday morning to be off. I can actually catch some of that stuff. But so they did theirs, and I did not do my video Monday night to try to beat them. I put that out there. I meant to do the test drive video the week before, but I actually had more time this week, and just like with tomorrow, I'll have more time to be able to do that tomorrow so that I can get that out. But anyway, and even in my test drive, I actually had some cool shots. I had the camera down underneath so you could see the wheel.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I got my SD card. I might need to go get a new one because it was not like it messed up and said it didn't work. It corrupted again. So I did that with some off-roading. I got to get that fixed before we go to Supercell. So
yeah.
Anyway,
how big of a discount is on the mach-es?
Well, let's see. Again, we'd have to pull. I think we actually have 2 mach-es in stock. They're not 25s. Oh, and if you do on a mach-e, you do get the power promise. So you get the charger and installation is still going on through June 2nd as well. So you get that as well included in there. Okay, here's one. Throw that up there. We'll make this a little bigger. Gotta get rid of this. So you're what, 53.5 on this one, and you get to buy it for 50,007. So you're saving $3,200. So 50,750. Now on ours, we're going to be at least $500 below that, I believe, on those. What's our price on these? Where's our website? Here it is. So we'll see. We'll look up ours and see. Like I said, ours have some light hail on them. So which one was that? Is it the one that was 53,590? We have it priced 46,740. 46,740. So we're actually $4,000 below A plan. So there's a situation where that would probably include the financing at that price. But if you're not, you're still 47.7, and then the light hail, you're 48.2. You're still lower than A plan.
Yep.
So in some of our vehicles is quite a bit below A plan. Again, we didn't want to raise our prices, and mach-e is one that we had been really aggressive with to sell them. And so for that reason, you're below A plan on one of ours. So anyway, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's
all right.
Yeah. And you get 0.9. So you get that price. You also got 0.9, and you get the power promise.
Right.
And if you don't want the charger and installation, you can get $500 rebate instead of the charger. So if you're somebody that maybe already has a home charger, or you have, the outlet or whatever, a NEMA plug, and you don't need that, we'll take the $500 and save yourself another $500 on top of that.
Yeah.
So not too bad a deal there.
Yeah. All right. Those are all the questions I had to this point.
Cool. Yeah, I'm curious to what everybody thought, because yesterday's video on the Maverick was, I've done a lot of different style of videos, but that was the first time really doing a test drive video.
Yeah.
Where I gave my actual opinion and review. There a lot of times with the members, I might tell the members of some of my videos what I think and how Ford could have done this or that, but you won't see that too often in a lot of my videos. But that was the first time where that's why I did the walk around first, to tell, here's some things that I like and dislike about the exterior and interior, initial walk around, and then we drove it, and then I gave my impression on that. But I will tell you, was really impressed with the Lobo, because I drove it a little bit because I was going to try to 2 weeks ago, I was going to do that video, or a week ago. And so I drove it a little bit, and time got away with me, and I just drove it on the highway and everything. But man, driving it, just the way it takes off, especially when you're in that sport mode, but in that sport mode and how it shifts and everything, and it is different because like what a lot of people may not realize is that it is a 7-speed quick shift, And if you look at the shifting, the gear ratios on that, compared to the 8-speed in the EcoBoost motor, you basically take second gear out. So it shifts right from first to third in a sense. And then you still have your other ones. So just to how well it takes off and shifts, but it shifts so smooth too, and it holds in sport mode, and it really holds that down, and is amazing and handled pretty well. I did some S curves and such, but not anything like what Dave and Kelly got a chance to do, and what they got a chance to see and experience there. But yeah, needed to do is I needed to have Derek just drive me, because he would have put us to its test. He would have put it in Lobo mode and drifted it. I guarantee you. He actually said he was gonna. I think he drove home tonight.
Yeah.
I think he drove one home tonight, because
I
I got
to ask if you can put a camera in with him.
Yeah.
Maybe I should ask to do.
We should do a short with that.
Yes.
Right. That's what we need to do.
Yeah. Hey Derek, can you take me for a test drive in the Lobo?
Right.
Yeah. If you want to get a hold of Tim after the live stream.
That's not right.
It's Timothy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just put in Tim and it pops up for me.
Yeah, we'll pass on that information. So, Jack's at Augusta. He's already at the Masters. We talked about you earlier, Jack.
Jack, you gotta go back to the beginning. I had my ice cream out.
Yeah,
it fits an ice cream tub, 1 pint ice cream tub.
Anyway, yes, but also we said congratulations to your Florida Gators. So anyway, all right. But yeah, well, Stephen, we'll pass on that.
Yeah, we'll get you first thing
so.
when I
Yep.
Yep.
Tonight I'll go ahead and forward that on to our business development center, and we'll get you taken care of. So
I'll check in on it in the morning.
Yeah. All right. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else unless you guys have any other questions.
Not really.
Not really. Yep. All right. Anyway. Okay, now that Jack's here, we can go. Anyway. All right. Well, no other questions.
No.
Yeah, next week we'll have a regular timed live stream. Yeah, we should have. I have jury duty next Monday, but doesn't change the evenings unless they sequester us, which they probably won't. But we will be here next regular time next week. The 22nd is one will be recorded and will be on as a
I mean, we are in Salina, Kansas. I know that we have a high crime rate, but it's not crazy.
No.
Where sequestering is needed.
No. But anyway, yeah.
Unless you're here about the Cozy Inn lawsuit going on. At that point, I think they're sequestering. Who hasn't heard about this? All right, everyone else leave.
Yeah. That's the bad thing is I don't pay attention to the news. I don't like negativity in my life, so I don't pay attention to the news.
Do you know what's going on with Cozy?
So I don't even like that. I really don't. I think there's something about the mural on the side or something.
Okay, so you know how downtown Salina has murals all over it?
Yes.
And our commission they've been asking artists to come in and put murals up.
Yeah.
Okay, Cozy commissioned their own, did not get it approved by our city, and therefore our city is suing them, and they're using taxpayer dollars to do it when our taxpayers do not want the lawsuit to go on. They want the mural. Everyone wants the mural except for the city, and therefore they're using the taxpayers' dollars to sue them.
Thank you for letting me know that, just in case that is the one. Now I'll know all about it.
Now you know you can say bye.
Oh gosh. Anyway,
I think right now they've said they've spent enough money that every taxpayer has put $12 towards the case.
She said 500,000's already been spent.
Yeah.
No, the last one that I had. So this is what happens on our member live stream right here at the end.
We have fun.
So the last one, because I actually was on one where I was on the jury and everything, and we pled him guilty and everything. So the next one that I had to go and be at, the lawyer that was on that trial that lost, he was there. And so then he had asked, have you been on any case that I've tried or they've tried? And I'm like, yes, you. And like, okay, so what was the verdict on that one? I said it was guilty. So I didn't get on the jury. So I was lucky I got the same lawyer. So
I mean, again, we are a small city with only so many lawyers in it.
Yeah. That room was big though. There were plenty of people to choose from. Anyway, all right. Well, enough of that. But hope you guys are you have a good week this week. And Masters, if you're not into golf, this might be the one week that you might watch. Kind of like I actually missed the game last night. I was working Jeff was out. We were chatting and everything, and just totally didn't spaced it that game was on. And I was like, oh, the game's on. And then I looked and I got my notification that of my CBS the thing. I said, well, I know Florida won because I picked Houston and it said that I didn't win any more games. So I still won my bracket.
There you go.
Anyway, so sorry, Jack, I didn't pick Florida to win at all. Championship game though. I did pick them to get to the championship.
Just tell the judge that you can tell if they're guilty just by looking at them. Just go in there and say, I had a premonition before coming in today. He's guilty.
I was there. Spirit. Anyway, all right. I don't know if that. All right. Well, appreciate you guys for joining us tonight, and hopefully learn something about employee pricing. And if you're kind of on the fence and thought about getting something, now might be the time to put you over the fence and purchase something. And yeah. So instead of Ford raising prices, they lowered prices on a lot of vehicles. So that answers the questions of whether or not tariffs were going to be applied to vehicles. I think you have your answer now. Now, only time will tell whether or not we will see them raised down the road. Mm-hmm. I don't think that Ford is planning on it within this model year. But like I said last week, who knows? We might see the model year end early for some vehicles.
Yeah.
We noticed that all the vehicles made in Mexico all are having job 2 balance out this month coming up. Is that a coincidence? Well, 2 of them are the same plant, so that's not a coincidence. But mach-e was, job 1 didn't start till January. And for job 2 balance out,
true.
Not only do they have job 1's balanced out, but job 2 is balanced out the same month that job 2 for the Maverick, which started production 3 months prior to that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird thing. Anyway, but there's supposed to be a job 3 for the Maverick, in Bronco Sport. So we'll see if that's just a startup for job 3, or they would tell us if they're balancing out that early by now. They'll tell us that far in advance, because they'll usually tell us before, hey, we're going to close the order banks or whatever. So that's what I see happening. If anything, I feel like if they're going to shift and start making these vehicles in the United States, I think what they'll do is, because they're close enough to the end, is that they would just balance out the year and start 26 model year at the new plant.
Yeah.
That's what I see happening. And then I see possibly a price increase. But again, that's just no knowledge. Nobody's told me anything. Just to me, pure speculation and pure guessing and what do they call that? Forecasting or something.
Right.
But that's just my opinion. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'll find the right word eventually. All right. Well, that's all I have. You got anything else?
No.
All right.
We're good.
Well, I hope you guys had a great evening with us, and thanks for all the great questions, and appreciate it. And until then, don't forget, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, we'll have Bronco. We're going to do a test drive. We did on the Bronco Sport that we did a walk around on last week. I'll do something similar. I won't go through my pluses and minuses. Some people had said, Tim, you're kind of funny because you said you weren't going to do a walk around like you did last week, but you didn't. Then you spent 7 minutes doing a walk around. So I won't do a walk around. We'll just go and test drive the Bronco Sport this week. And that's Anthony's Bronco Sport. And we'll have some fun and get you guys that footage for tomorrow night. And then,
Yeah.
But definitely. But don't forget, check out our website if you're thinking about getting a vehicle. A lot of our vehicles, like I said, are pretty close to A plan with the hail disclosure. Some are significantly lower. Like you saw, that mach-e was several $1,000s below A plan. Our Broncos are below A plan. So if you're looking for a great deal on a Bronco, Black Diamond, we have you covered. We have some others. Some of our Roush vehicles and some of those vehicles are way below A plan pricing with when you add the package. So a lot of them you can still get some really huge deals on some of our vehicles that's well below A plan and not just A plan. So
now, Clay, I saw your comment there. My grandpa retired from Clay Como. How do I go about getting the A plan? Well, right now
everyone gets
it. So get it in the next 2 months, and you get it regardless. Otherwise, you have to have that relative there to get the pin, correct?
You'd have to go to the dealer and figure out what it takes. I think as long as you're related close enough, I think grandparent, it works.
Right, but they have to get the pin, right?
They would need to get the pin. They would need to apply for it for you.
All right.
Yes.
Well, if you swing in and want to say hi, go to the front desk and ask them to page us.
Yep. All right.
Well,
if nothing else, thanks guys for joining us. Until next time, stay positive, be kind to one another,
and be kind to yourself.
See you later.